Hello again from Adat Yeshua Messianic Synagogue here. I'm Rabbi Benjamin and we are in Norwich. And again, we're greeting you as you're studying and reflecting during this preparation time. And we are, of course, doing Passover on Saturday evening this week here in the synagogue. So we are very close, cleaning out our homes, removing the leaven, and preparing to eat matzah for the next 7 days after that. I want you to have a thought today something Yeshua said actually at that Passover meal that he celebrated with his disciples very shortly before his death and resurrection. And he says at that point, when he's talking about the matzah, he's holding the unleavened bread and the wine, which he's got there as well at that meal, which we have every year at our Passover Seder as well. And he talks about these two things about being, this is my body, this is my blood. In fact, he then goes on to talk about the wine in particular, how it symbolizes the blood of the new covenant, which he is cutting. And most people aren't really familiar with the background of that statement. They just think that Yeshua was creating some kind of new covenant or new agreement, and not even sure necessarily what covenant. Most people don't understand what that is either. In actual fact, it goes back to a covenant which is mentioned in the Tanakh, the Old Testament, which is mentioned in Jeremiah 31, because of course Yeshua was not cutting a brand new covenant in that sense. He was talking here about a renewed covenant, because in Hebrew, new, chadash, has this concept of a continual renewal of what's going on, in a sense of nothing new under the sun. Everything God does is like a recreation. He restores, brings back to true that which has gone away from the straight. That is the Hebrew understanding. So this renewed covenant is a renewing of covenants that have gone before, and it's mentioned in Jeremiah 31. We need to understand what it is, because this is what Yeshua establishes at that point. He creates it, makes it real, makes it operative. It becomes operative and functional at that point. And here's the details of that covenant for you from Jeremiah 31. Behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, when I will make a renewed covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant I made with their fathers in the day I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. My covenant which they broke, though I was a husband to them, says the Lord. That's the Mosaic covenant. But this is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says the Lord. I will put my Torah in their minds. I will write it on their hearts. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. It's a fascinating thought when you think about this, because Yeshua's blood really establishes this covenant. There's always the shedding of blood when any covenant is established in the scriptures in that way. And now the outcome of this renewed covenant that Yeshua links with his death and resurrection is having the Torah of our God, his righteous commandments, beginning with the 10, but not ending there, all of the 613, according to what Yeshua says, they are now written on our hearts. This is a fascinating perspective when you see it this way, because it's taking the very righteousness of God in the scriptures, and instead of having it as something which is aspirational, written on stone, that we can look at and admire and think, I wish I was more like that, now it becomes inspirational in us, on our hearts. In fact, as Rav Shaul, Paul would put it, we are a new creation. And this new creation now has at its heart the very righteousness of God put within us, placed there through surgical operation in the spirit, as it were, and now becomes our driving motivational force. It's a powerful redemptive message, a powerful understanding of what Yeshua actually did through his death and resurrection. He made it possible for us to actually live righteous lives before him by putting the Torah, the so-called law of God, now on our hearts as well. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll enjoy reflecting on that short passage. Thank you much. Bye-bye.